All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get to it. No time to waste. Good to back again. Once again, let's lock in. I am pretty sure by now that you guys have heard that there was a comedian from the United States in the state of Minnesota that found him a nice, beautiful Colombiana, went down there to see her, and ultimately met his demise as a result of a kidnapping, that turned into the unaliving of this particular individual. Now, I'm a realist, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you time and time again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you as an advocate of travel that shit like this can't happen. It's the reality of the world, right? I do encourage guys to take the necessary precautions when meeting and dealing with particular young ladies and making sure that you vet them to the best of your abilities. But it's when you start to let your guard down, when you start to allow people into your circle and you really feel like you know somebody, when they try to take the most advantage of you, right? Now, it's truly unfortunate. It truly is that this particular individual met his demise. Um, it's sad. It's unfortunate. But what I realize is there are still a lot of guys out there who really don't know how to catch the signs. Now, I do understand that, when you're dealing with a beautiful young lady that doesn't remind you of some of the young ladies that you may deal with in the West, that you can be booty blind, right? That is a high probability, and if you're thinking about getting laid, or you're thinking about, oh man, I found this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young lady and she's right, she's everything that I need, and I love this shit, and she's doing everything that I need, she's saying all the right shit. It's very easy to be blinded by this, right? But for most of us who understand, we can never take people's words at face value, right? We know this, like we know that we can never take people's words at face value, right? Because if we do, at that point, it leads us into going into situations blindly, and ultimately shit like this can happen, right? So there's no real, you know, list of rules that I can tell you that I think you should follow. I can give you a couple of things that I do for myself if I was in that particular situation, and you could take it with a grain of salt if you choose to. Number one, never take online relationships seriously. I meet somebody online, it ain't serious. I meet you in public, still ain't serious. I need to know you before it starts to become a thing. I'm always meeting in public places, never in places after a certain time when it starts to get dark, even though things like this can happen in the daytime. I'm at a mall, I'm somewhere here, I'm somewhere there, and if you do bring them back to your place, technically, I wouldn't bring them back to my place. I'd have a hotel room set up to the side. That does require a little extra funding or a little extra finance for your trip. But ultimately, I do believe that it keeps you safe if people don't know exactly where you lay your head at night. They could find the hotel or whatever. But when you're in a hotel space, I think it'll be a lot harder because there's a lot more people around for them to walk you through the lobby and shit, and you not scream like a bitch if somebody try to rob you, right? Or somebody try to kidnap you. Like me, I'm screaming, I'm good fuck, right? You're not taking me, right? Anyways, going back to it, being careful where you stay at, being careful where you meet people at, and just giving yourself the understanding that there could be people out there that are trying to take advantage of you because you come from the quote unquote first world, right? So you just have to understand that you can't take everybody's word at face value, right? People gonna say everything they need to get what they need from you. This I know for a fact. If you give them the opportunity, they will do whatever it takes to get, what they can from you. And you should never, and the doc means never, allow that to happen. Because I do believe that, the ransom amount was crazy. It was like 2 grand. It was something small. Let me stop, because 2,000 is a lot of money, but it wasn't as much as you would expect, right? And if that's all they were asking and they didn't get their money and ultimately my man met his demise, it goes to really make you think about the price of a life, right? Or the value of a life. Like, that's me. That's where my mind goes. What is the value or the true value of a life? You know? And it's sad that this is how it ended. I know that 2 grand down in Colombia is probably a lot of money. I'm not sure of the currency exchange rate, but I'm gonna assume that that's a pretty decent amount of bread. Um, But I sat there and I had to read this story and I was like, damn, another passport bro bites the dust, right? And we don't want this shit. Nobody wants to hear about shit like this because all that leads is into the conversation. Well, y'all was over here talking about how nice these women overseas are, and damn, look at what happened to him. You see, that's why y'all asses need to stay here in the West and stop trying to meet these girls overseas, because all they gonna do is get you kidnapped and ultimately, I don't need to hear that shit, but they gonna say it. You feel me? If you give them the opportunity, they gonna say it. And I expect nothing different, which is why y'all gotta, use that mindset before you make these trips overseas. And I can go into details about it, but I just feel like I'll start regurgitating information that I feel like a lot of you guys should already know. Okay? But RIP to this brother. I feel bad that, I felt he was probably taken advantage of, and as a result, this is it. But I think this is also serving as a wake-up call. I think this is serving as a, damn, I need to get my life together, get my act together, and start really taking precautions when I do travel overseas. And that's the best thing I could give you guys today. It's been a good doc, man. Y'all know what it is. Good docs, good books, all my good shit, description area below. Merch, go ahead and copy some. It's been a good doc, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.